In today's video, I talk about the fact that I took my old November TBR, threw it out the window, returned all of those books to the library, and have a brand new TBR, of which I have several books here. So what prompted it? The first part of the month had been slow going with the reading on my TBR. I did have some chunkers. I wanted to read through Robert Jordan. I wanted to get into the Wheel of Time. I've gotten into the Wheel of Time. I read The Eye of the World. I started The Great Hunt, but I wasn't feeling exceptionally motivated to read. It was feeling like a slog. It was good. It wasn't bad. I wasn't in a reading slump, but I just wasn't inspired. And one thing that I had been waiting for a while was the Goodreads Choice Awards. And I knew they were coming out and I kept waiting because I knew it's not a lot of time, but I wanted to be able to get them, put them on my TBR and like pick a category or two to try to read the books, all the books in there, and actually vote. I've been a Goodreads member since 2011. I have never voted in the Choice Awards because I tend to not read a lot of new releases. This year I wanted to give it a try. So on Tuesday, last Tuesday, the 16th, they released their list. And I started looking through the middle grades list and thought, I want to read these. I want to read these right now. And so on my planning period, I just decided, okay, canceling that other hold that I had at the library, so I clear off my holds list. I am going to check out as many. I am going to hold physical copies at the library for as many as I can. I'm going to check out as many of these on ebook as I can, and I'm going to put holds on as many ebooks as I can, and I'm going to try to read all of the middle grades and children's and the young adult fantasy. Now, granted, I'm probably not going to be able to get through that before the voting window closes for a couple of reasons. One, I'm not going to go out and buy these. I'm going to get them from the library. So there are two or three books that my library does not have yet, including Rick Riordan's newest, Daughter of the Deep, which I find highly surprising that my library doesn't have it yet, or doesn't even have a record of it saying on order. I will be interested to see if Rick Riordan, if Daughter of the Deep is voted as most popular. I honestly hope it's not, just because the fact that it's not available at all at the library means that it's only going to be a privileged few that actually have it and go out and buy it automatically. But I digress. During my planning period, I wrote down the books that I could check out immediately from the library. I put the rest on hold, checked a whole bunch out on my Kindle, and I have a brand new TBR. Of those, at the time of recording this video, I have read one of those. I have read The Last Fallen Star by Gracie Kim. I've finished that. I am currently reading The 13th Fairy. I'm also reading Root Magic on my Kindle. I am loving Root Magic. So far of the three, Root Magic is coming in the lead for me. Now, I'm going to just show the books themselves and not talk about them a lot because these are fairly popular. One other note, because several of these books put on the list were in series and they are the second or third or fourth book in the series, I am not just jumping out and reading that book in the series. Because I have a little bit of a book problem, I'm also reading the rest of the series. Here are the books that I have physical copies of. I have the first three books in the Arusha series, another one of the Rick Riordan Presents imprints. So this is Arusha and the City of the Plague God, Arusha and the End of Time, Arusha and the Song of Death. The fourth one I have on hold, so it should be coming soon. Next, I have Amare and the Night Brothers. This is very popular on BookTube. I've heard a lot of amazing things about this. Honestly, I hope this one wins, or maybe Root Magic, because I think that would be amazing. But I'm forecasting before I've read even a quarter of these books. I have Best Nerds Forever. This is probably one I'm least excited to get to. It's not fantastical. It's not necessarily my type. Also, it's James Patterson. When an author is super popular and just turns out books, makes me wonder about the quality. But we'll see about this one. This one is not a full graphic novel, but there's lots of illustrations in it. Next, I have Ground Zero by Alan Gratz. I've read a couple other books by Alan Gratz before because he is frequently, his books are frequently selected for the SEASL lists. Next, I have Starfish. Next, I Eat My Words from a minute ago. I did have this on hold, but forgot that I picked it up. This is the fourth book, the book that's actually on the Goodreads nomination list, Irish Shaw and the City of Gold, the fourth book in the series. I have Alone by Megan Freeman, Irish Shaw and the Tree of Wishes. I was pretty sure there was only 4 books, but apparently there's 5. So I'm going to be reading a lot of Irish Shaw. So we'll see. I will probably save my wrap up about these books until I've read all 5 in the series. There's not. I just realized that I said City of the Plague God was an Irish Shaw book. It's not. It's a first book in a different series. Oops. Next I have 2 V.E. Schwab books. I forget what the series itself is called. I am currently waiting on the first book still. I have Tunnel of Bones and Bridge of Souls. Bridge of Souls, it's the one I believe that is on the Goodreads Best Book Awards list, but I'm not going to read this one until I've read this one and the first one. And then I also have Lost in the Neverwoods. This is another one that I've heard really good things about. That's not nearly all of the books that I have. I still have, I have 10 books on hold currently at the library, the names of which are escaping me at the moment. And I have several books, I have 10 books on my Kindle, which I'm holding in my hand right now. So I'm going to open up my Kindle and look at the books that I have in there and then put their images up on the screen when I am talking about them. So I have Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. I'm a little nervous about that one because I wasn't impressed by another book that I have read by her. This is getting into the young adult fantasy, but we'll see if Realmbreaker is any good. I have The King of Scars and Rule of Wolves Duology by Leigh Bardugo. I have enjoyed Leigh Bardugo books before. I have House of Hollow, which I'm also a little bit nervous about because I'm not typically a horror or thriller type reader, and this is what this sounds like, but I'm willing to give it a try. I also have Eyes That Kiss in the Corners. That's one of the middle grade and children's books. And then I have the second, third, and fourth book in the Sabbatahir series, which I forget the name of the series. I have read the first book in this series, and reading these books will actually help me on my tentative 2022 goal of finishing out series. So I have A Torch of Night, A Reaper at the Gate, and A Sky Beyond the Storm. Now the book that's on the Goodreads list is the fourth book, A Sky Beyond the Storm. And then last on my Kindle, I have The Gilded Ones. I had my work cut out for me, but I had my work cut out for me anyway, so kind of thinking that all the pages of these bookses? Did I turn into Gollum? All the pages of these books added together were some of the length of near the length of the other books that I had on my list. I plan on trying a version of a 24-hour readathon where I sleep, you know, and still eat and all those things, but to try to get through these. But I'm already absolutely loving reading these books, and that's the thing. If you tie yourself to a TBR, reading doesn't become enjoying. Now, I'm no longer tied to a TBR, well, sort of, but I no longer tied to the old TBR. I mixed it up, I threw new ones in, ones that I'm generally excited about, and I think I'm gonna have a good time. And I hope you join me along the way. I'll see you in the next one.